They
Yeah.
didn't tell the story of natural bodybuilding and all the players that were here and gone. You got some guys that dedicated their life. They're not here no more to this sport. They're not here. And we just can't forget about them. You know what I'm saying? We can't just
Yeah.
forget about them. You know, you know,
Yeah.
it's so much. It's such a big story, man, and somebody needs to tell it. You know, somebody. Hey, we need to call Spike Lee. Somebody.
It sounds,
They
yeah.
can tell the story, man. It is a great story, man. And I try to keep up with as much of the history here in Texas that I can. Try to preserve it. You know, I forget some of the stories sometimes.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of get ups and wake ups. In this little lifetime, I turned 60 in November, so
Okay.
I done seen a lot of stuff in this game.
You've
But
lived a little bit.
yeah, so but I want to preserve the culture, man. If I can't do it uh worldwide, statewide, at least I can do it in Texas.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So I am here with Mr. Todd Doc Rogers, founder of Team ODF Fitness, president of Onyx Naturals, professional bodybuilder himself, international judge, and promoter. So, Todd, let's start off with where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Houston, Texas. That's my
Okay, okay,
home. That's where I was born. Yeah.
okay. So, what got you into bodybuilding in the first place?
It was a fluke, man. I worked for the penitentiary in TDCJ for 17 years. And in that process, I obtained my uh, personal training certifications there. And once I left the penitentiary, stopped working there, I decided to go ahead and finish training. That was my side hustle. I was training. So I set up an actual gym within inside my garage. I would have clients come out, they'll come out and do that. And I met a lot of people in the fitness game. And somebody introduced me to the world. I knew of the world of bodybuilding, but I didn't know of the world of bodybuilding.
Got you, got
And
you.
so when I went to my first show, I saw it and I was like, man, you know what? I probably could do this. And then I had some of my clients and I approached them with the idea and they was down with it. So that's what we did. I started training athletes. And then
Okay.
as we went, I was like, well, maybe I should see if my formula worked on myself. Because, 90% of my clientele were female. And,
Okay.
sometimes they weren't listening to what I was telling them. Hey, you got to
Sure.
eat this, eat this, eat this. But I'm still going to go out there and turn up this weekend, Todd. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. So I said, let me try my formula on myself. And it worked out. I obtained two pro cards, one with the Natural Fit Federation and one with PNBA. So
Okay.
it
Okay.
worked out pretty good for me. That's how I got into the game.
Okay. So, what aspect of the sport do you love the most? Like, what really, really made you fall in love with bodybuilding?
I love judging. Judging
Okay.
was my big thing. We talked about it earlier. I'm an international judge. I've judged in 5 different countries. So I love judging. I love that aspect because when I first started, I thought judging was pretty much trash. You had some extremely great judges out there, and then you have some trash judges out there. You had some that really didn't. I didn't feel that they really looked at the physique the way it should be looked at. And I look at bodybuilding as a physique competition, not a beauty pageant. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So you would have judges that they would base it on beauty, not the physique, you know. Oh, she had a beautiful smile, long blonde hair. Oh, you need to change your hair. What about the
Hmm.
physique? Did the physique meet the criteria? You know what I'm saying? That's why I look at telling women that they need to go. You're never gonna win unless you get a boob job or some craziness like that. What is that? You know,
Yeah.
so judging was my favorite part.
Okay. So I guess being a coach, that like you had your athletes have to deal with this personally. So you have a personal relationship with this, and like it became a part of your mission.
Right, right. And so I wanted to better myself for my athletes. So coaching, judging was the next thing. So I could understand criteria. And that's the biggest thing. Criteria, criteria, criteria. You know what I'm saying? So by me understanding criteria and understanding what each league, because I've just about every natural organization that came to Texas, I've actually judged for them. So
Okay.
me understanding what they wanted, what the powers that be within each league wanted, helped me develop my athletes to be better on stage.
Okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. So I want to dig into more into Onyx Naturals. Before we do, let's go to the ODF Fitness, like the Operation Dr. Frankenstein. I want to know where the name Doc came from. Like where did all this, what was it structured? Why? Like where did it come from?
When I developed ODF Operation Dr. Frankenstein, we were actually a collective. So I had clientele, and from that clientele, the group grew bigger. It grew bigger. And so basically, my thing was that I was going to take a person that's never competed, put parts together like Dr. Frankenstein, and build that person up to what we need to do, the transformation of that person into a monster, so to say, so they could compete on stage. It was a good concept. And in that concept, we started developing athletes in other areas. We had photographers, we had people that tan, we had people that did nutrition, we had people that did. So it was a collective. ODF became a collective, a
Wow.
one-stop shop where you could be an athlete here and still have resources within the team. So that's how ODF came. And then, of course, they labeled me Doc Frank. So that's how I got the name Doc.
Man, that's clever. That is
Yeah.
I haven't heard of anything like that in this industry. Not to that extent. That's crazy.
Right, right. It's a great concept, and like I said, most of my athletes that competed with ODF, they're all excelling at some part of the industry. Like I said,
Business, yeah.
photography. Uh, we got a bunch of guys. They went into photography, nutrition, actual personal training, posing coaches. We got some of the most elite posing coaches in Texas, probably in the United States, that came from ODF.
Wow. So you enjoy developing people.
I do. I do. I
Man,
love to see the
I
growth.
love that.
Yeah, both physical and mental and spiritually. I like to see people grow.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. So from today, looking back to when you started like the ODF fitness group or collective, what are you most proud of?
Yes, what we just talked about, the growth. It makes me so proud, man, to see that my people are out there, branched out. They don't forget where they came from. You know, they pay homage all the time from where they came from, and they're out there doing. Excuse me. They're out there doing good things and pretty much giving back the way I gave back. You know what I'm saying? So they're out there making money. They're out there giving back to the industry. I love that. I love that to say that, hey, I know where you started. You know, you came from here. You were
Yeah.
part of the old, baby.
I love that. I love that. So now let's talk about Onyx Naturals. So what started Onyx Naturals? Like why did you decide to just create your own org and
Well, I've been a part of several different organizations. I started my promoting career out with the Natural Fit, the NFL organization. Stayed with them for a little while. During that time, I came across GBO, they both started pretty much the same time. Just a quick history lesson. In 2015, 2014, David Nall started the NFL when the WNBF left Texas. He started the NFL, and then Bob Johnson started GBO at the same time, stepping away from NPC. So at that time, like I said, I've been judging for everybody. I was judging for the NFL, I was judging for the GBO, and then I decided to promote for the GBO. I was already promoting for the NFL. I'm probably one of the only guys that you'll ever meet that actually promoted for two organizations at the same time. I had a show with the GBO and I had a show with the NFL at the same time.
Okay, well,
So basically, the powers that be, they were like, hold on now.
yeah, I was gonna hop on that because I'm like, from what I've learned since I've started competing, I'm like they don't play nice like that. So how?
They don't. They don't. They don't. So they didn't. And both shows were successful. Both shows were very successful. Matter of fact, the uh, Legacy Classic, which I just passed on to a friend of mine, my brother Trey Jackson, IFBB Pro. He actually promotes the Legacy Classic. It's the cornerstone of Onyx, but it was also the first ever GBO natural bodybuilding show. So
Okay.
yeah. So it was crazy. And then me and my friend, partner Todd Tanner over there at the NFL, we co-promoted the Poseidon Classic, which is also was a big show, man. And I used to go out and recruit athletes. See, one thing I did pretty different than from a lot of the promoters here. I would go out and get athletes from other states across the country, and I would bring them here to Texas and have them come and compete. Like with Poseidon Classic, prior to 2015, we had pretty much died in pro natural bodybuilding. You know what I'm saying? As far as the vision itself, men's pro bodybuilding was
Yeah.
big at one time, and then it pretty much faded away. What 2014 came back, that changed the whole game. 2015, 2016, we were bringing athletes from across the country to come here to Texas and compete.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, to be honest, when I started competing, my options in Texas were
Yeah.
yeah, or slim.
I mean, you
That's
only
awesome.
had two federations really here in Texas. You had the NGA, which had three or four shows, the WNBF, which had probably about 6 or 7 shows. But those once they dissolved their relationship with Texas and left, all those WNBF shows became NFL shows. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's
Yeah,
how
because
that worked.
I was looking for WNBF shows at the time. Onyx hadn't really been created, so
Yeah,
yeah, I had to go travel across the country trying to find a show. It was
yeah,
ridiculous, but
yeah. It was
yeah,
it wasn't none. And then once the NFL came about, then that's where you had
something. Yeah.
more shows. But all those shows, the original except for my show, the Poseidon Classic, were all WNBF shows originally.
Wow. Okay. So they were here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they were here.
Oh man. Well, okay. So what specific gap is Onyx trying to fill
Um,
in the industry?
in the industry, I just wanted to give athletes more of an opportunity. It was pretty much a monopoly here in Texas. You either competed with the NFL. You had some of the bigger power shows. They had one satellite show in Texas, like you have the PNBA. They had one show here. You have the ANBF. They had one show here. And then the NFL had all the shows. Being that I was a part of the NFL, I said we just want to give some more variety to it. And then once I talked GBO into doing natural bodybuilding, then now we have a kind of a variety.
Hmm.
So we had a variety. You had the NFL and you had GBO Naturals, which I was the senior director of GBO Naturals. So now you had something else that you could go and do. Like you said, when you started, you got to go out of state to look for shows. But now
Yeah.
we got two major players here in Texas, and Texas is big enough to hold two major
Yep.
players. So we had two major players. We had athletes competing over at the GBO Naturals. We had athletes competing in the NFL, and we had interactions. Some people didn't like it. Some people thought it was great. You know that they had somewhere else they could go compete. They didn't have to travel to Florida. They didn't have to travel
Yeah.
to New Jersey. They didn't have to travel to California and Arizona. They could do it out here in Texas.
Okay. Yeah. No, that, I mean, makes all the sense in the world.
It does.
So, one thing with you is I get that you you won't have an issue with like athletes competing in different organizations and people trying to play nice, right?
That's the thing. That's why I try to create that atmosphere, that environment here in Texas, and inviting other athletes from around the world to come here and compete because I believe Texas has some of the best natural bodybuilders in the world, which we have proven.
Best
We proved
athletes,
it at the
period, right?
BFAT. Yeah. But my thing was, getting back to your other question about Onyx. So toward the end, when I decided to do my own thing, um, I had got with my partner, Michael Gayton. He's the other half of Onyx, and a guy named Dwayne uh, Malone, which was also a WrestleMania world champion and great promoter for WrestleMania. So I had recruited both of them, and I decided to say, hey, let's do our own thing. And that's how the name Onyx came about. We all had our own production company. So I had ODF Fitness Production. Michael had X-Frame Production. Dwayne had Natural Production. So we put the first parts of each one of them together and became up. That's how it became Onyx. With the
Okay.
experience that we had, we put together, and so all the original GBO Natural uh, show came over to Onyx. And that's why right now we have probably about 13 shows on the roster because of that.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's how the name came about of Onyx. Because people ask all the time, what does that mean? And it was just a combination of all three of our production companies coming together as one.
A symbol, which y'all create a cool name with it. So that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So far, what's been your biggest challenge? Your team's biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge, just staying ahead, creating different things. I try to be an innovator, man. I try to add fun to this industry, man. I brought in men's athletic. That's one of my biggest things, because there was no men athletic in Texas. We had women athletic, but we didn't have men's athletic. And like the men really don't get that love they need to be getting, man. Because I like to say, you got all these women divisions. You got bikini, you got figure, you got physique, you got bodybuilding,
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
all these different things, wellness, and then you had bodybuilding and men's physique in the men's division. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah,
wanted to create something else that would explore different criteria. And with the athletic criteria, it was so much different, and we added different poses to it to make it even more better. I added different poses to from the traditional men's physique, from competing in Europe. They had a intercostal pose. I added that to our stuff. So now we have athletes that are doing intercostal poses here in the United States, just like they did in Europe. I went from a traditional T walk to a box walk. Uh, just changing things up and making it a little more different, man, so that the athletes will have some more variety. Because that's the thing, we want them to have fun, man. That's
yeah,
that's the bottom line. If you're doing this and you ain't having fun, something wrong.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into defect. So, how did that partnership come about?
Well, ODF uh, actually became Team Texas when Defect was here back in the day before COVID. So we had Defect shows here in the United States before COVID, and they used to have their world championship in Miami, Florida. And athletes were flying in from around the world to come to Miami, Florida before COVID and compete from around the world. I mean, you have uh, 20, 25, 30 athletes from Australia, 30, 40 athletes from the UK, Italy and France and stuff like that. They would all come down and compete here. And we would actually put a team together, Team Texas, ODF, and we'd take them down and we compete defense. So I became real friends with the directors and presidents and stuff with the DFAC. So when it came time for me to create Onyx, that relationship was just automatic, because GBO Naturals had an international uh, branch too. So we had athletes from around the world would come and compete
Oh,
at the
okay.
GBO Naturals. So I wanted that same thing for Onyx. So building that relationship with DFAC just helped us out. So now we're a part of an umbrella, which is DFAC, the Drug Free Athlete Coalition,
Hmm.
which is an umbrella for 5 or 6 different uh, organizations, natural organizations around the world. We got the AMB down in Australia, the AMBF in Austria. You got uh, the BMBF over here in UK and the FCFN in Italy. So we got all these different organizations that I build relationships with that we all come together at the end of the year and we all end up at the DFAC World Final, which I'm sending 4 athletes over there. They actually won their titles here at the DFAC World Texas. So I'm sending them over there so they can uh, defend their titles in Germany this year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
so you take the athletes from the previous year, put them on the
yeah,
roster, and then get them. That's cool. That's
set them
cool.
out. And
Those are
plus, we got
your US team.
yeah for Team USA. And then anybody else that wants to go, we do qualifiers. Now we're not paying for them to go, but we're paying for the defending champions to go. But we have qualifiers, and if they want to go and compete, that's their pathway to going over the DFAC and qualifying to compete for our pros.
That is awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
And
yeah,
we
y'all
got a good
don't.
relationship with DFAC Caribbean. So we actually uh, I send athletes to Grand Cayman, and then Grand Cayman is the home for DFAC Caribbean. They send athletes over to Onyx to actually
Hmm.
compete. Yeah,
Yeah, I did see that last year
yeah,
at Worlds. Yeah, that's
yeah.
really cool. I love that. Well,
Nobody's doing that.
no,
This is
no,
one thing. When you ask uh, what set us apart, nobody's doing that. No other federation's doing what we're doing, man.
no.
We're giving back to the athletes.
Like
Yeah,
the level of support that I see here is like what people have been asking for in natural bodybuilding. I know a lot of other organizations will talk about finances, and I haven't promoted a show, I haven't run an organization, I have no idea the
right,
effort that goes behind that, right? At the same time, what the athletes give is or at least attempt to give is so much, right? So
right.
for you to turn around and want to support them and push them that way, that's great, and I love
Yeah.
it.
As a pro, man, when I started promoting as a pro, I said I wanted to be a promoter that gave the athletes everything I wanted or thought I should be getting when I was a pro athlete. So I wanted to make sure that they got that and more, and
Yeah.
more opportunities. I mean, I've sponsored athletes to other organizations because I'm a fan. I'm a fan first and foremost. I'm a fan. I love
Yeah.
it. If there's a big show going on and I want to see what's happening, I want to see certain athletes on stage, I'm going. If it's a big show, like I support Mr. America 100%. So
Yeah.
if I want to see somebody that I love on stage go against some of the best in the world and see how they stack up, I'm paying money to get that person over there on that stage, man, because I want
Yeah.
to see that. Like I said, I'm a fan first and foremost. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That
I do that a lot. I do that a lot. I'll send athletes to different federations and see how they stack up with their champions and stuff, man. Because I just like seeing
Man, and that's
it.
that's the mindset of a fan, man. I haven't seen a whole lot of that, at least from that side of the industry yet. So
Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, it's not for me, but I appreciate it. Love
yeah,
seeing it. Yeah.
yeah.
But okay, so from a promoter's perspective, what
Mhm.
does a great bodybuilding show look like?
You know, it's kind of hard to define that because I've had shows with 120 athletes in it, or I've had shows with 6 athletes in it, and in that show with 120, I say the most fun was that smaller show at 6 because it's more intimate. You get to really feel the stories behind the athlete because every athlete got a story, man. Everyone has a story and how they got to where they at. How did they get to that stage? And that's intriguing to me to see how they do it. So, but when I got 120, I can't do the stories. I can't,
Yeah.
I can't,
Yeah.
I can't really feel it. If I got about 30, 40 athletes, I can feel what the pulse of the show. I can feel what these people are, going through, what they had to do. This sport is not easy. And for someone to just transform their body and live life too, and transform
Yeah.
their body to be able to get on that stage for just 10 seconds, 10 minutes, maybe, and do that, they got stories, man. So I say a good show depends on the body of the show. What the soul of the show. It don't necessarily to me have to be the biggest show. It's what the soul is, and a lot of times it's based on the promoter. What his aspect of the show is, and what he puts into the show or she puts into the show. I have probably 4 men that promote for me. The rest of them are women. And what time is sometime in the industry, it wasn't a lot of women promoters at
Yeah.
all. And I got these women knocking it out the box. We got a show coming up on July the 25th, the Houston Diva. It's an all women show. I started the Houston Diva back in 2020 during COVID. I put on the show, all women show, because I said I wanted to do one. And the show was successful. It was great. Next month, COVID hit and everything went to ride, you know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Mhm.
these women are amazing in here. And I love showcasing the women, man, because, like I said, for a lot of times, they didn't get no respect. They weren't getting the money. We pay the women the same as we pay the men, because they put on the show. And what people fail to understand, they put butts in seats too. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. I'm sure those like today it feels like at least the bikini category I've seen is
Yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
stacked. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they'll put more. And nowadays, back in the day, men's bodybuilding did put a lot of butts in the seats, but bikini put butts in the seats. Man, they gonna come and see these and support these women. You know, 100%. They gonna support them. And as a
Yeah.
promoter, that's what you want. That's what you
Yeah.
want as a promoter. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, what would you say that what does the crowd rarely get to see like behind the scenes of an event, like just building an event? What is it I don't know, like really how
Chaos.
difficult it is and whatnot.
It's chaos. Unless you got a great team, and I have a great team, man. I got a great team of expediters and runners and volunteers that come out. They're very versed in how to put on the show, what needs to happen in the show. I have uh, a, a great selection of judges. I put judges in different cities. My director of judges, which is Isaac Johnson, uh, I employ him to go out and make sure that we have judges in different cities. Whereas you're not seeing the same judge. If you came
Yeah.
and competed in Houston, you're not going to see the same judges in Dallas. You're not going to see the same judges in San Antonio. You're going to see a whole set of new judges, a whole nother set of new eyes. And if they're telling you the same thing, then that's what you need to work on. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's how we do it, man. So I like to put a lot of stuff in place that, you know, checks and balances stuff that, you know, will help the athletes down the line to grow.
Yeah, I want to say this about your team. So when I was at DFAC Worlds last year, one thing that I noticed was it was like one big family.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
that's dope. This is real dope.
By design.
Yeah,
It's by design, man. It's by design. You can't be a part of this and not be part of the family. And that's as soon as we bring people in, they hey, welcome to the family. You
yeah,
know, that's right off the top. Welcome to the family. You earn your pro status. You become a part of the Onyx Pro League family. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. And that's even with our promoters. You know, it's all hands on deck. You can't go to a show and that all our promoters not there for a promoter that's promoting that show. They all show up. What you need? What we need to do?
mhm,
Putting hands on. You know, all our judges, even judges from out of town, they'll come down and they'll come out there and just support what you need done. Moving, putting stuff up, banners, lights, whatever needs to be done, the family shows up to make it happen. I think you got to a point now that I can just sit back, you know, but I can't. But
yeah, 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 yeah. Of course,
because
yeah.
my motor be going, you know. But yeah, I could probably just sit back right now and just watch, you know, and enjoy the show. But you know, I'm hands on too, and because I'm hands on, I think that reflects onto the rest of our people, and they're all there too. We have athletes; they'll show up, volunteer, and just help out, you know, because they love what we do.
I respect it. I do. So on a stage, let's say specifically with your experience, what makes a competitor memorable?
Say it again.
What makes a competitor memorable?
Man, man, I gotta go back to soul, man. Go back to soul, because I done seen some athletes that hit the stage and they leave it all out there on the stage, man. It's almost like, you know, like when I look at bodybuilding, I say that the performance arts society missed missed what we do because some of these athletes that get on stage, man, like I said, they leave it all on stage. You can feel it. You can feel it in the audience when they're presenting these masterpieces, these art forms. They're actually Leonardo and Picasso, and they're mixing and molding their bodies to do something that's probably it's natural, but a lot of people can't do it. Only 1% of the population can do it, and they're up there giving it all to you. And I can sit there because I think about like me as bodybuilder. A lot of times I sit there and I watch them, and you could tell the folks that actually put their whole body and soul into their routines where you just sitting there watching it and it's pouring out and you start feeling it in your chest like, man, oh man, this is something special. And you can see it in them. You can see the 16 weeks, the 20 weeks, the 10 weeks of nothing but grinding coming out on that stage and they got that they one time to shine, you know, that one time to shine. That one moment, you know, they're not asking for permission to do it. They're taking the moment and they're taking the show, man. And I love seeing it. It's just big to me, man. It's big.
I agree. I think every everything I love about bodybuilding came from how it made me feel when I saw people pose. Yeah.
And I
Even
love
even
I
even
love
even
watching
stills.
women's bodybuilding, man. I love to see those guys and the women also when they do their physique routines. And like I say, man, we had, did you see at the DFAC, we had the world champion, Mario Hill, when he did his routine, man, it brought a tear to my eye, man. I was like, man, this, because I know the guy from day one. Here's the crazy thing. I've watched him develop from day one, from his first time ever stepping on the stage. He was a men's physique guy. And I told him, I say, man, eventually you got to let them long shorts go and move up to where you're supposed to be, because sometimes in natural bodybuilding, we try to relate to what they do in the NPC, IFBB. And
Yeah.
that's not what natural bodybuilding is. It's a different
Yeah.
animal. So if you're looking at those guys, you know what I'm saying, and saying, no, that's not me, but in actuality, you are that guy in natural bodybuilding. You know what I'm saying? I, I know Mario probably made more money competing than most of your everyday IFBB pros that's not Olympians. So it's just crazy to watch him develop into what he became from day one when he was a puppy. I'm talking about almost a decade now that I've watched this young man grow up on that stage and become what he is now. And now he's sitting before us as a world champion. He's about to go over there and defend his title in Germany. And then I know his background. I know where he came from. I know the hard knocks, which makes it even special. And this one is crazy. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay. So while we're on the topic of how natural bodybuilding differs from your enhanced side, where do you think natural bodybuilding is headed right now?
Man, it's great. It's great. Like I say, here it is. I've been promoting since 2014. You know, we're at a peak right now. We're such at a peak right now that the NPC came knocking. You know what I'm saying? We're such at a peak that they came knocking. So we're doing good. If they
Yeah.
came and knocked, it was back in the day, we was frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? 2010, when I was competing, we was frowned upon, man. PNBA Pro out. Good luck with that PNBA Pro card. Yeah, yeah. We were frowned upon. People, they basically defecated on us, man. We wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
But now it's a
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah.
Now it's a different story. Now you can become a IFBB natural pro and have opportunities and aspirations of competing at the Olympics. Who would never thought? You know what I'm saying? Who would thought? So I know
Yeah.
we're doing good because we're looking at 1989 NPC at 89. No, I'll take that back. 1980, 79 NPC came about. We're looking from there to now.
Yeah.
Natural bodybuilding wasn't even on the radar. Now it is. Now it
Yeah.
is. So that tells me right there that we're doing something right. We've been
Yeah.
doing something right. Look at the payouts that we're getting. No, we're not getting Olympia payouts, but
Sure.
I wasn't making that much money back in the day as a natural pro. I wasn't getting $5, $6, $10,000 a show. That was unheard of. For winning a show. No, that was unheard of. Now these guys are making money. You got cats. I was looking at my 1 hour athletes the other day. Jessica Smith. She's she's probably about 9 shows in for the year right now,
Wow.
and she gets paid at every show. She's just that good,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Just cleaning up right now.
Yeah, I
Wow.
looked at guys like Eric Murphy back about 2 years ago. I saw this dude do at least 20-something shows in one season. Got paid every show. Every show. He placed almost every show. It probably, but out of those 20 shows, it might have been like 4 shows he didn't place in.
Mm-hmm.
He's that good. He was that good. He's a legend, actually. Eric Murphy, look his name
Eric
up.
Murphy.
He's a
Okay.
natural legend. He's a natural legend, man. You know, and if you can do that and you enjoy it and your body can hold up to it, say why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So yeah, the state of natural bodybuilding is great. A lot of people complain because there's too many organizations. Maybe, maybe not, and that we should all unify. But that's not gonna happen. Come on, man. We gotta
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
honest with you. People, people, you know, somebody gotta control everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody gotta be the big dog. Who's gonna control the money? Who's gonna control how everything's runs? You know,
I,
and if you already in your stuck in your spot, in your place of being, you're not gonna want to change. You're not gonna want to conform to anything else. You're not gonna compromise. So it's not gonna never happen. So we're gonna have to learn to exist.
yeah.
My big thing with it was that all the big organizations should focus on one championship. That's why
That's
I
what I was
think
about to ask you. Yeah. Yeah.
they should focus on one championship. And I say it should be Mr. America. I say that all your champions should qualify to go to Mr. America. You can have your own championship, but that championship for your organization is a qualifier for you to go to Mr. America. And all our athletes compete there.
Yeah.
That's my solution to it. You know, when they say it's too many organizations and stuff, you know, because I know the WNBF is not going to conform to what the OCB wants them to do. You know, it's not going to happen. You
Yeah.
know, the PNBA is not going to conform to what OCB wants them to do. That's not going to happen. You know, Marjorie is not going to work with whoever's the WNBA president now because I know she's retired, and Danny over there at PNBA is not going to conform to what Margie wants to do with OCB. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Now, do you think that international athletes will see the Mr. America and want to partake, knowing that it's, labeled Mr.
Yeah,
America versus, like,
yeah, I believe they would want to, and I know they will do it. You know, because just the aforementioned organizations like the OCB, WNBF, uh, PNBA, international athletes flock here to be at the
yeah,
Natural Olympia. They flock to come to the WNBF Worlds. You know, the Yorkton is a historical event. They flock to do the Yorkton Cup. You know, of course they want to come to do Mr. America. You know what I'm saying? And and I know they will. I know they will. You know, so yeah, they
I mean,
will come.
I want to see that happen, to be honest. I want to be a part of
And
it.
I do
So,
too. I do too. I mean, Mr. America is too important, man. You know, if you know bodybuilding, Mr. American is too important.
oh
You
yeah,
know,
oh yeah, oh
too
yeah.
important. You
I
know,
agree. Oh,
we need to support it. We need to, as organizations. I know I support it. I send athletes there just about every year. We have to support it. We gotta back it because it's too important to what we do. You know.
you know,
Yeah.
no, I totally agree. Are there is there anything from the growth of natural bodybuilding that concerns you?
Um, I would say two aspects. Testing.
Okay.
Uh, all these new designer drugs. I want us to be a more tight relationship with the drug companies that we use for our testing. Tell them that what we need, have them have reasonable pricing for that, what we need, you know, for the promoters to actually be able to afford these testing, and keep it at a high scale, because we all pretty much run under what WADA puts out, what the World
Yeah.
Anti-Doping Association puts out.
Yeah.
Um, but we pretty much all use pretty much the same clinic. And if that's the case, I'm not trying to strong arm them, but I would like to see them be a little bit more flexible, add more panels to the drug testing uh, uh, kits and stuff that we get.
Allow some customization, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
Try something for some of these custom drugs that we're really not able to test for, and you know, give us something back. We
yeah,
giving you money,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
paying you, work
yeah,
with us and make it even better for the athletes, because and the bottom line, integrity and being fair is what it's all about. We want a fair playing ground for all our athletes. I always say eventually you're going to get caught if you're dirty.
yeah,
You're going to get caught eventually. You can only stay in the shadows for so long, but you'll get
yeah,
caught. You'll slip up. But it shouldn't have to be that way, and uh, if the urinalysis companies, they work with us and we can actually improve it, because we basically, like I said, outside of those who do random and actually use an actual water uh, facility, we all use the same people.
yeah,
So they get paid by all these organizations, work with the organization to make it even better.
yeah,
That's my thing. On the second thing, uh, us working together, you know, I have no fault in trying to work with different organizations. I want to work with different organizations. Um, PNBA, I, I'm a PNBA, former PNBA pro. They work with us. They support us. They honor our pro status. ANBF, or the Kent Burley, he honors our PNBA, our Onyx pro status. USBF, up there with Tony and them and Courtney, they honor our status also. Mr. America, you know, I would like to see us be able to work more with these different organizations, us coming together, like I said, maybe as a coalition, as the DFAC does, as a world factor, international factor, where all these, you still have your organization, but we all come together as one. If we could do that stateside, I think that would change the
yeah,
game totally, because like I said, we got DFAC, got Australia, you got Spain, you got Italy, you got France, you got the UK, you got Germany, you got the Caribbean. So if we could do that on an international scale, why can't we do that on a local scale within the states?
yeah.
We should be able to do it. We
Have
should be
have
able
you
to do
had
it.
have you had any of those conversations?
We all have that conversation, and my thing is this: that a lot of times we got to think beyond ourselves and think about the athletes and the betterment of natural bodybuilding, and not just think about me. It comes down to a me thing. You know, we we got this, or we do this.
Yeah,
Think about what we can do collectively. You know, to better serve the athletes that compete in our organizations. You know, a lot of times you're not getting that vibe back from certain
yeah.
people.
That's what you think. You think it's more of a the way they're looking at how things should be done, right? Like,
Right.
is it
And
like so? Some people are for the athletes, some people are like, oh, this is my business.
yeah,
You
that's it.
know? Yeah,
It's so me and Michael co-own Onyx. I'm the culture dude. Michael's business dude. You know,
hmm
I always overrun the business side because I'm about the culture.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
about the culture of bodybuilding. I'm about preserving natural bodybuilding. I'm
yeah,
about building natural bodybuilding and educating folks on my knowledge that I have through my experience. Then Michael comes in with the business part. running the business, making things, the back office is right, stuff like that. I'm this. I'm here with you, talking about the culture, how we
Mhm.
can stay alive, where we came from, and where we're at now. So that's my part in this game. And when it's all said and done, I want folks to know, hey, I love this this sport. I love
Yeah.
this sport, and I love these people that we have in this sport.
Yeah. So I mean, I want to say that when I found natural bodybuilding, or when I found bodybuilding in general, I was extremely young. But when I found actual competitive natural bodybuilding, I was 30. So
Yeah,
like for me, I never knew about most of these organizations. Like I had
right,
no clue until I decided um that I didn't want to go the rest of my life without, just trying competing. And I
right.
loved it. I loved
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
you start learning about the history of natural bodybuilding specifically, and you go,
The culture.
where was this like for the
Right,
last 10, 15 years of my
right,
life?
right,
um,
right.
there's a large story here that hasn't been told yet in
It
full.
has. It has.
I can't wait. It's coming. It's
It
coming.
is.
You can feel it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of players. It's a lot of players, man. And if we could come together and tell this story, oh my goodness, somebody needs to do the documentary, man. Somebody really needs to do the documentary. PNBA did it at one time with Iron Man magazine, but they only told a portion of the story that was the PNBA
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
didn't tell the story of natural bodybuilding and all the players that were here and gone. You got some guys that dedicated their life. They're not here no more to this sport. They're not here. And we just can't forget about them. You know what I'm saying? We can't just forget about them. You know, you know,
Yeah.
it's so much, it's such a big story, man. And somebody needs to tell it, you know. Somebody, hey, we need to call Spike Lee, somebody.
So,
They can tell the story, man. It is a great story, man. And I try to keep up with as much of the history here in Texas that I can, try to preserve it, you know. I forget some of the stories sometimes.
yeah.
It's been a lot of get ups and wake ups, in this little lifetime. I turned 60 in November, so
Yeah.
I done seen a lot of stuff in this game,
You've
but
lived a little bit.
yeah, but I want to preserve the culture, man. If I can't do it uh worldwide, statewide, at least I can do it in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this. It probably won't be a part of this conversation, but I will want to have another conversation with you and just talk about history. Like
Yeah.
I like learning that. So another thing, when I'd say a few years back, I thought about, man, if there was just a website or page that just documented the history of all of
Yeah.
this, and it would also save a whole lot of lives because one thing with a lot of the kids is that they just don't believe
You know?
because it takes so much time. It's such a hard thing to understand at that age. Like if
Yeah.
you have it, you'll do it. But if it doesn't come up immediately, then
Right.
it can't
Yeah.
be done. This is you're lying. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
And that's the thing, after COVID, the culture was pretty much lost. You have guys, I had a guy the other day did a show. He just did the show. Great physique. Great physique. Had no clue really what he was doing. Earned his pro status because he had that physique. But he doesn't, I know he doesn't know where it came from before COVID. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? They don't know. They don't know. These youngsters don't know. They just know, oh, I earned pro status. But what's the history? Who earned before you? How did it start? Well, you know, go back and research that and see, man. And it makes it even more special when you know this, when you know where it came from. You know,
Yeah.
the road that was traveled to even give you the opportunity to earn pro status. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Like
the
like what
thing.
like what and maybe they'll maybe he'll do that himself, like after
Yeah,
he finds meaning in the pro card, right?
in the
I think
pro
that
card,
that's a whole
right?
piece of it, right? For me, even personally, the pro card is just access to the pro stage.
That's
Like
it.
the physique and the the posing, like the representation, all those that's bodybuilding, right?
Right.
Like everything else is just your showcasing of the thing you love.
That's
And
it.
everybody may not get that until you find
Exactly.
that love and passion
Exactly.
for it. Yeah.
And then my thing is, I still want to educate. You know, I have like our pros, we have like a pro messenger group, and I throw stuff out there to them every once in a while. Some of them like, oh, I didn't know that, you know, and they really don't. They really don't know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I mean, not that it's not important, but they don't know. You know, they just don't know the history. They don't know the culture really. You know, so I try to put that out there to them, especially the pros, so they have some common knowledge and understand how special it is to be where they are. You know, so
Yeah. No,
yeah,
history is important, man. It's
it's
so
important, man. It's
yeah.
important.
Yeah.
It's
You
important.
you learn so much.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to homage, pay homage to these guys, man, that came before you. You know, that paved the way. You know, there was first place was $50 in a Walgreens card. You know.
Jeez. Yeah. Thank you. But
Yeah, yeah. You got a Subway gift certificate for first place. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So yeah, you know, to see where we at now, you know, I'm sitting here looking at trophies and stuff now, you know, I'm like I was looking at the Diva trophy and stuff. Nice
oh, nice.
crystal heavy
Hmm.
stuff, you know, and you know, we try to make it. Like I said, as a pro, I want athletes to get the things that I didn't get, you know. So
Yeah.
we've come a long, long way, man, in the last 10 years. And to get back to your question, yes, natural bodybuilding is where it needs to be. And it can only go higher. Only go higher, man. But like I say, we're gonna have to do some tweaking
Yeah. Yeah,
among
for
these
sure.
federations and come together and come up with a plan. And once we come up with that plan, it's gonna make it so much better for all the athletes, man. So much better.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. And maybe it's gonna have to start with the athletes.
Yeah. Well, they know. They demanded it. You know, a lot of them demanded, you know, like I say, you know, those organizations that I mentioned that actually support Onyx and honor their pro status.
Hmm.
Those they know
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
we send athletes over there and they send athletes over here. You know, like I say, giving the athletes variety, like I tried to do here in Texas, because after a while, you know, if I'm keep competing in Philadelphia and I keep seeing the same people in Philadelphia, you know, the same judges in Philadelphia, the same athletes, I'm competing against the same folks.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, after a while, that I'm done. But if
yeah,
I
yeah.
know
Like there's no more challenge, no more growing.
it's
You're
no
kind
more
of
challenge. But if
yeah,
I know I can get on a plane, come to Texas and compete with Onyx, I'm doing it.
yeah.
I'm doing that. Or I can load the truck up like we used to back in the day before we could afford to fly. Load the truck up, put the bag, the duffel bag in the back, and the dumbbells, and head out to Florida. You know, I can see that. I can see that being good for all of us. You know. But if I can't go out there and compete because you say I'm not a part of your organization,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or
All
that
right.
I'm a pro and I gotta start from the bottom and work myself up. You know,
Yeah, especially for people who have been, pros for a long time. They're like, "Oh, I want to go try
exactly.
this." You're telling me I gotta.
And I think that if I'm a youngster and I know this dude, but I've been following this dude
Yeah.
on social media, and he's a pro. I've been following him. I admire him, and shoot, I'm a fan of him. And he show up to competing next to me in the amateur division. I'm gonna kind of feel some type of way, you
This is
know,
it's discouraging. Yeah.
when he knocked me in my head. Wait a minute,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
supposed to knock me in the head. I'm gonna
Yeah.
feel somewhere about that, you know.
That's
Feel
that's,
somewhere about that. You
that's
know,
definitely fair.
that's a pro card stolen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, like you said, I think that's one of those things where you're not looking out for your athletes. You're not thinking
Right,
about the
right.
full picture.
And
Yeah.
you know, people got their rules. Rules are rules. You
Sure.
know,
Sure. Yeah.
and if that's your rule, that's your rule. You know,
Yeah.
and we gotta respect that. But is it right? Nah, I don't think so. But that's me.
Yeah.
That's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people agree with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So let's talk a little bit about coaching and athletes and just that um,
yeah.
uh, whole thing. So,
Yeah, it's crazy
well,
nowadays.
yeah, it's there's a whole lot of positive because a lot of resources and education is out there, so coaches are becoming better, right? At the
They're better.
same
They're
time,
better.
the sport's growing, so people are falling into these traps and with these people are just they're just here to make money. Let's be real.
Right,
They don't care about people. Like you're here to collect a check and move on with someone's life in their hands. And
right.
I don't understand that way of thinking. But so
It's it's
what no, go ahead.
it's
Go ahead. Yeah.
it's bad, man. You have more of that than you realize. That it's just about the money, you know, the livelihood. And I get that, you know, you're trying to support your livelihood, but then you forget what you're doing, you know, or why you do it. You know, you want to change people's lives. Bottom line, my thing is when I was coaching was all about changing people's lives. You know, bringing folks from the brink of death, talking to that dude in the white lab jacket to becoming something more, achieving what God wanted them to be, you know, not being sick, not being ill, being able to work through things, you know, and find a new sense of being, you know, where you're more disciplined in your life. Because that's one thing about bodybuilding as a whole. I'm not just saying natural bodybuilding, but bodybuilding can
Yeah.
change your life. It can
Yeah.
put you in perspective to what you need to do. It's not only just in the gym. Those those things that you learn in natural bodybuilding, but being a bodybuilder rolls over into your real life. You know, being disciplined, being focused, being driven to achieve more. You know, so those are the things that I would like to instill, or I tried to instill in my clients when I was doing that. It wasn't always about the money, you know what I'm saying? Or just money, money, money. I'm a celebrity. I'm a celebrity trainer. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
Yeah.
about that. It was about changing lives, man. That was it. It was almost like, you know, when you hear about these doctors and physicians and they were like, you know, I'm gonna go out here and change the world, you know, and then
Hmm.
all of a sudden they get burnt out and like I ain't changing nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's just about the money for me now, you know. Like, hey, I'm gonna put you on this pill, man, and you're gonna be on it for the rest of your life, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, man. And
Yeah.
and you see that so much, and it's really heartbreaking to me that we've got to that point. But yet there are diamonds in the rough, though. There are those coaches out there and trainers who are out there and they really believe in what they're doing. They see how they are transforming athletes. They see how they're transforming their clients and how they're making it better for them. You know, as a trainer, man, a trainer is like, you got about 4 or 5 different jobs. You're a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A preacher, coach. You help them work these folks to where they need to be. You know,
Yep.
it it's a job that a lot of people look over. Like I say, changing lives is a big thing, man. It's a
Yeah.
big thing, and so I see these coaches as moving away from that. A lot of them just about the dollar, man. They need to be about changing lives, and
Creating
that's just how.
programs and nothing else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think, what specifically separates a great coach from an average coach?
How he gets involved with his clientele. As far as a lot of coaches, like I say, and I get it. They don't have an emotional attachment to their clients. You know, I give you a big example. You probably met him though. The guy that did my live stream at DFAC, Reggie Collier, is amazing. I've been knowing Reggie since COVID. I've been knowing Reggie since COVID. We both were trainers back in the day. He woke up one day and said this all he was gonna do. He was gonna change lives, and he started Reggie Fitness, also known as the Queen's Compound. This guy has probably about a 300 member all female clientele list, and he knows all of them. He has a personal relationship with all of them, and he's like can't do nothing wrong, and they will do something bad to you and say something bad about Rick. He's that guy. He's
Yeah.
that guy that believes in changing lives, and he's changed hundreds of lives just with that concept that we're talking about right now of believing in your folks, giving them a pathway for change, and just helping them transform into to the person they want to be. And my hat's off to him, man, because he's been doing. Like I said, we've been since 2020. Here it is,
Yeah.
2026. He's had a successful business. Uh, Look him up online, man. He's a
Okay.
story within
Okay.
himself. To talk to Reggie Cardi, Reggie Fitness,
I'll do my
Queen's
homework.
Compound,
Okay.
and man, that dude is amazing, man. The things that he's done, the lives of women he's changed. Hey, man, words can't express, the things that he's done. So with saying that, that's what separates a good coach from this money grab.
Yeah.
Being able to relate to you relate to 300 women. Come on, man. You relate to them and got them on point to move forward, to believe in themselves, the confidence he's instilling in them. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And not knocking the coaches is about the money, you know what I'm saying? But if you have that blueprint, the money gonna come anyway. The money gonna come anyway.
Yeah.
It's gonna come anyway. That's that's coaching to me.
Yeah.
The
I
word coach
agree.
alone,
It just takes
you know,
it takes longer, and some people don't have the patience for it.
they don't have the patience, but you learn to have patience if
Yeah.
you got the right mentor, the right director, right person that's gonna guide you and build you up. You know, I remember one time, I've never coached PED. You know, I don't know how to coach that. I don't know how to coach performing enhanced. I don't know how to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
So I
Uh-oh.
lost you for a
You
minute.
make it back?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I was just about to message you on Instagram.
Yeah, I made it back. But yeah, I I think that you coach from the inside out, man. You know, you have to find the inside that person's why. Why are you doing this? And then build them from up from there. And then the physique will start changing their mindset month by month, day by day, year by year. There will come something different. It
Yeah.
will transform, you know. And that separates good coaching to me from just the quick fix, the band-aid, you know. A lot a lot of coaches are band-aid coaches. They're just gonna get you where you think you need to be, but not teach you how to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's always been a big one is helping it. Now, I don't know if this is a conscious thing, but you'll notice that some people don't want their athletes to grow and, spread their wings and fly out and
Yeah.
do their
But
own
you
thing
got
at
to.
some point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you got to. It's not forever. It's
Yeah.
not it's not forever.
Yeah.
You gotta let the baby go sooner or later. Let them grow up, do their thing. That's why ODF was so cool because everybody was able to spread their wings and give back
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
give back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So what are some specific red flags that you can speak to within the coaching world that you've seen?
Research your coach. You gotta research your coaches. You know, because everybody's a coach on Instagram. You know, every athlete feels they can coach or they can train. You know, and that's not necessary because most of them don't know what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Because you have folks, they when they first uh pro show or they did one show and now you see them on Instagram and they coach you. You know, I'm like, come on, man, you didn't have a clue 3 weeks ago. Now you up here trying to coach? Come on, man. Some of them ain't got no certifications, which we talked about coaching history. You ain't went back and researched. You ain't did nothing on nutrition. You don't have a certification in nutrition. You using your meal plan that your coach gave you, which is is different. You know,
Yeah.
you just those are red flags you gotta look for. Look
Yeah.
look for their history. Look for
Okay.
what they actually done. You know, in the training and being a trainer. Get some references. Uh, who can I talk to about this person? You know,
Yeah.
is he really a good coach? Is he really a good posing coach? Is he a good trainer? Is he a good nutritionist? You know, a lot of time I would look at people's website and I see these cookie cutter meal plans that they have on
Hmm.
there. Just regular meal plan, not designed for meal plans should be designed for an individual basis, just like training is an individual basis. In
Yeah.
prep coach, every prep ain't gonna be the same. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Even with the same athlete, what you did last prep not gonna be the same as the next prep because the body adapts. It
Yep.
adapts to whatever you put it under, and it wants to be better. So you got to find a better way to make it be better.
Yeah.
So those are red flags, man. You got to look for. Just because you see a dude up there and he done got his IFBB Pro card, and he said he's gonna start training.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't use that. Don't let that be a factor in who you want train you. You know what I'm saying? Don't let that be a factor, man. So that's one thing I say all the time. You got these guys, they cookie cutter trainers. They're YouTube trainers. You know what I'm saying? They're not real trainers. They're not
Yeah.
real trainers. And you wonder why you can't get where you want to be because that's not the person. That's not the person.
Yeah. So what responsibility do you feel as a promoter to help educate athletes that come toward even to your shows or just athletes you see out and about?
I try to do a lot of free clinics. I do free clinics.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of free clinics. I bring my staff in, all hands on deck. We come in and I have them educate athletes on criteria. A lot of times you have coaches, they have no idea about criteria. They have no idea about um, where athletes supposed to be. Everybody thinks they're a bikini girl until you stand next to a bikini girl. Everybody thinks they're a figure girl until you stand next to a real figure girl. And they can't see it. They can't see that. This is designed through symmetry, muscularity, conditioning, presentation. They can't understand that because they haven't did the research to know it. Again, red flag. If your coach don't know these basic things that I just said, that's a red flag. If you looking for a opposing coach or you looking for a coach to train you to be an athlete, if they don't know these basic things, that's a red flag. They got to know these things, and so we offer it to both athlete and coaches. Even in my judging seminars and training, we offer it to. You don't have to judge, but we offer the class, the training to you
Sure.
to
Yeah.
help you be a better coach for your athletes. So that's something that we do for free. We
Okay.
don't we don't we don't charge for it. To educate athletes and educate the coaches and stuff like that. Because we want everybody to be better. We want you to be better, and I think that's the key right there to the longevity of the sport, to making sure everything is up and up. Because your mama and your daddy gonna always say, "My baby should have won." You know,
Hmm.
she she was robbed. He was robbed. But your mama and daddy don't know criteria, so we want to make sure that everybody knows criteria and understand what we're looking for and what you want to do. So the education process that we provide is a key to making everything okay, for the athletes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. That's one of the best ways to give back to the community in general,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
yeah. And then you got people that's curious. They don't know. Like I said, that young man, he probably saw a show on Instagram or something, and he said,
Hmm.
"Man, I'm gonna jump in it." But now he's gonna have a platform that he can actually have tools that he can resource on to help him even become a better athlete. And I'm
Yeah.
quite sure he's gonna be an amazing athlete down the line. He just needs the proper guidance,
Yeah.
and we're gonna make sure that he gets that.
Okay. So some advice. What would you tell somebody who wants to compete for the first time?
Go to a show.
Yeah.
Go to a show.
Yeah.
Look at it. Then find you a good coach. One thing I found that you see, not to be talking about the young man we were just talking about, but you'll have athletes that'll go to YouTube University.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And think that that's how it should be. A coach is going to be able to, opposing coach, trainer are going to be able to actually look at you and see what your best aspects are and bring that to light. Whereas you know what I'm saying, you're not going to do it. I tell people all the time, just in posing alone, if you're in the mirror and you're posing, you shouldn't do that. And they say, why? I can't, I can see what I'm doing, but you're not going to have a mirror on stage. So who are you gonna be? What are you gonna be looking at? You have to learn to feel your body. You gotta
Yep.
feel what you're going through. And like I say, everybody looks good in the front because you got a mirror. But who's telling you how you look from the back? Who's telling you about the details that you need here and there because you can't see it?
Yeah.
So that front pose, everybody looks good in that front pose. And then when you
Mm-hmm.
turn around, it's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. That
You
that
know what I'm
that there.
saying? So you gotta get your coach. You need to go to a show. You need to research. You know what I'm saying? Your coaches, and you gotta have three aspects. The three aspects. You gotta have good nutrition. You gotta have great presentation, and then you gotta be able to feel. So those three things you need. Those are the trinity.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're gonna come from three different places. You might have a trainer, posing coach, and a nutrition. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, you know, you can have one in for all of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out. You got coaches and trainers that can do it all, but a lot of times you don't. You're gonna have to have three, and then those three gonna have to work together to
Yeah.
build you to what you need to be in. They have to have a good working relationship with each other. I know coaches that know nutritionists and they send their clients to their nutritionists. I know coaches that know posing coaches and they send their clients to those posing coaches because they have that relationship. So you're gonna need that. But first and foremost, before you jump in the sport, go to a show. Check the show out. You know, I remember when I was before I started judging, I wanted to be a judge. So I saw a lot of holes in judging. So I would go to shows and I would just sit in the back. Like I said, I'm a fan. I sit in the back, I have my pencil and pad, and I'm judging the show. I'm judging the show based on what they say criteria is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I'm 90% right for what they had down there. So I'm like, shoot, I could be a coach. So then I started going to a lot of these uh, judging seminars and stuff like that. And that's how I worked myself into being a judge. I started going to shows and practicing to be a judge. So sometimes you got to do that. So
Yeah.
first thing I would tell athletes, man, go to a show, check the show out. Don't just jump in because somebody said, "Oh, you ever thought about bodybuilding?" You've been up in the gym, and then you
Yeah.
run out there and spend your money on a membership and try to jump in the show, and then you're embarrassed because you didn't know what you
Yeah.
were doing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to coaches specifically?
coaching, coach from inside, man. Coach from inside. You want the best out of your athletes. You know what I'm saying? And you're not just looking at them as a number. And that goes back to the athlete too. If you think your coach is just looking at you as a number,
Yeah.
don't understand that life be life and things be happening and everybody's built different. You know what I'm saying? As a coach, you can't coach everybody the same way. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You can't get the best out of somebody if you coaching them, say, the way you coach this guy right here. He might not even respond. She might not even respond to that type of coaching. So you got to be able to coach from within and bring the best out of them. And it'll reflect in the physique that they're trying to receive. I don't care if it's transformation or competing. You got to find what And that's the hard thing about coach. You got to find what makes them tick.
Yeah.
That's a real coach. You got to find
Yep.
what makes them tick, what drives them.
Yeah.
Because in the end, if you make them better, that ain't gonna do nothing but that's a notch on you, on your thing, you know. Because you see coaches like I was laughing. I seen a couple of the coaches a meme the other day. A dude he was up on Instagram and he was doing some weird stuff with the dumbbells and stuff like that. And then you see a text message come across and say, "Man, don't tag me in nothing else."
Yeah.
You're embarrassing me, man. Don't
Uh-huh.
tag me in nothing else.
I'd teach you that.
Yeah, I ain't teach you that, man. But yeah, but yeah, you gotta coach from within, man, and bring them to where they need to be, you know, because a lot of them don't know. They just have an idea of what they want to be or where they want to go, but you gotta find within inside them where they want to be, and they can get there if they know and you know what
Yeah.
they want. Yeah.
Okay. And last bit of advice. Um, what would you get, or what advice would you tell to somebody who wants to be a promoter?
Woo! That's a big one. Learn the aspects. You have to become a student first.
Yeah.
Become a student first. Volunteer at shows to see what you're going through. Get with a promoter, seasoned promoter, which I try to do with my promoters, especially new promoters, and have them walk you step
Yeah.
through step through what it is to be a promoter. Uh, it's almost like coaching. It's almost like being an athlete. You know what I'm saying? It's a process. You know, it's one thing you just find a venue and say I'm gonna do a show and you do a couple of posts on Instagram. That's not it. You have to build relationships. Organizations don't make shows. Promoters make the show. You
Yeah.
got to go out there and kiss babies, shake hands. You know these people. Let the people know who you are. And what you stand for. Because promoting is not it's not always showbiz. You know what I'm saying? It's not always the flashing lights. A lot of times you never hear about the promote. You know about
Yeah.
the show, but when you know the show and you know the promoter, it's a different ball game. Oh, I'm going to Todd's show. When the name equals the show, it becomes a different thing because now you out there, letting the people know what you stand for and who you are. You're not just a crook or something out there trying to rob them. They get to the show and it's just dust. You got to be able to. I say with Onyx, we have some of the most entertaining shows because our shows are interactive. We like to bring the audience into the show. We like to educate the audience during the show. To let them know what they're seeing. Like we was talking a minute ago about Mama and Uncle Sam and Aunt Jolene. That's my baby. It don't matter. She should have won. But if you're educating them as the show goes on what criteria is and what's going on, it's still my baby. But baby, you know what? That man said that you got to have this, this, and this, and you didn't really have that. So I get what he's saying. You might need to be in this other division, what I'm saying, that they show. But yeah, we want to make it like that. So as a promoter, you got to know all the aspects of the game. And the most important part is being able to relate to your clientele, to the people who are actually getting in your show. And that comes from going out there and shaking hands, kissing baby. Like I told you, back in the day, man, I'm a fan first. So I would go all over the country talking to some of the most amazing athletes in the world and inviting them to come do my show. It wasn't just, hey, boom, I got a show. Here's my flyer, and here's the website.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go out there and make relationships,
Yeah.
build relationships, build bridges. That's what I
Yeah.
would tell promoters. Learn that first. Learn that first. Learn what it is to be a promoter before you decide you want to be a promoter. And I've seen that happen a lot of times where you'll have organizations, they'll bring somebody in, but they never educated those folks on what they're doing or how to actually operate as a promoter. So learn what it is to be a promoter. Get you a mentor, ride with them. I rode with a mentor for several years. You know, shout out to my brother Todd Chandler over there with uh the NFL. I rode with him for many years, and then we decided to promote a show together. And from there on, I ran, baby. I was running
Mhm.
then. Yeah,
Okay. That's solid advice. I think people are gonna appreciate that one.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's do a quick rapid fire. Um, what is your favorite bodybuilding era?
Era,
Yeah.
I would say, I'd say the 2000s. I love the word. Well, I'm just talking about natural bodybuilding. I say the 2000s. I love natural bodybuilding. If we just talking about bodybuilding in the whole, it definitely have to be the 80s. Definitely have to be the 80s. You know,
Okay.
2000s. You know, I was a big Phil Heath fan. You know, big Phil Heath fan. You know, the gift, baby. I got a shirt around here somewhere, hacked, signed, and everything. I'm telling you, I'm a fan, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was my dude, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Branch Warren, you know, I I I did one of my first Ronnie. One of my first shows was the Ronnie Coleman Classic. You know, uh, I had went to a Ronnie Coleman show, and I was sitting there in Mesquite, Texas, and I'm watching that, and this was like the first year they introduced men's physique. You know, them cats didn't have an idea. There wasn't no posing to it. They had a little criteria. They just told you go out there, you had your little shorts on and just do some type of pose, you know, and then you went off. There wasn't no structure to it. And I watched that and I said, man, you know what? I can do that. I can do that. And I went home. Next year I came back and won the show. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. So
Yeah.
that this era within itself, within the 2000s, man, has uh, been so exciting because it was the era that I lived in. You know what I'm saying? But I like the 80s. I like the old school. I like the Libratas. I like the, you know, the the Haney's. I like those, you know, but I really enjoyed the era that I lived in. It's almost like, you know, I'm a football fan, and I
Okay.
love the Oilers. That's for my forever team, even
Oh
though
wow.
they Titans.
That was
Right. But when the Texans came to town, you can't. They can do no wrong in my
yeah.
book. You know what I'm saying? They can do no wrong. So this is my era of football. You know. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
So what's your most memorable competition?
competing.
Yeah.
I would say the Branch Warren and the NRG. I think that was like one of my favorite shows all the time. When I did Branch Warren, NPC Branch Warren and the NRG, because it was in the NRG, you know, it was at the NRG. You know, I said I had to do that show. I think I got fourth place when it was in the Woodlands. Then I came back probably about 4 years later and did it at NRG and I won. So I think that was, and all my family and everybody was there. You know, I think that was like one of my most memorable moments in competing. Uh, Going to nationals, it was cool, but that was the big one. The Branch
Yeah.
one at the NRG, man, to be at home, you know, to be at home in front of all my people, you know. So and in the NRG, well, my Texas play. Yeah, so that's the one right there.
Okay. Okay. So what is the biggest lesson bodybuilding has taught you?
Um, Life lesson, man. I mean, give back, give back. That's that's my biggest thing. I want to give back. I want, I can't be selfish with it. You know what I'm saying? I can't be selfish with what I've gatekeep what I've learned. Um, I want to give back to the athletes. I want to give back to the coaches. I want to give back to the promoters. I want them to experience everything that I've experienced and how this amazing sport has changed my life. Just taking me all around the world, man. Places
Yeah.
I never thought I would go. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I done been to states and within that I have never been. I've been to countries that I wasn't on the map. I didn't have Ecuador on my map. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That wasn't my vacation destination. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
have Gabon, Africa, as a destination. I didn't even know what Gabon was. You know, South Africa, Nigeria. I didn't know where this place was. It was beautiful. The
Yeah.
people were beautiful. I didn't have Munich, Germany on my radar. I didn't have that on my radar. But this sport has taken me around the world. It's introduced me to so many amazing people, amazing athletes, amazing countries. So this sport has given me so much that I can't gatekeep. I gotta give back. I gotta be able to let others have the opportunity to do what I've done, you know. And the only way I can do that is to educate them and open doors and give pathways for them to achieve and do as much as they want to in this sport, man, because
Yeah.
it changed my life.
Yeah.
Definitely changed my life.
So what's next for Onyx?
We're gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep doing what we do. I you know, Onyx is gonna be Onyx. One day I'm gonna be able to just sit back. Not now, but I'll be able to sit back. But the crazy thing is that I'm putting people in place to do this and keep it moving. You know, uh, a vice president, James Mickles, he's been with me since day one. I coached him one time at I actually judged him at an NGA show competed, where he competed. And then I had a chance to talk to him and mentor him and he's never left my side. And now he's the vice president of Onyx Naturals. Uh, I can see him one day running. Uh,
Yeah.
Isaac Johnson, my director of judging, been there all the time. You know, he was an athlete. He was a promoter. He was a great promoter. Uh, Matter of fact, he's putting on the show next year called North Dallas Natural, and that's gonna be an amazing show. I can see that show hitting at mega levels. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be one of them type of shows, natural shows. And I can see him, you know, continuing the reigns of Onyx Naturals. I'm putting people in place to do this, to make sure that Onyx stays where it is. Um, the Legacy Classic, cornerstone of Onyx Naturals. Trey Jackson, he took over the reins. He got the biggest show in Onyx, and he took over. He's gonna take it to another level. So, in the end, Onyx is about growth, and we don't want to be stagnated. I want new ideas. I want new concepts. I want them to develop and and bring something to the table, not just be. And I know they're not going to be that way because that's not who they are. You know, I have a board of directors that keep things flowing. I don't make decisions just because I'm the president. I
Yeah.
make decisions among them where we make decisions together. You know, going back to what you said, when you came to the show, you saw family. It's not a Todd dictatorship.
Yep.
It's a family decision that we make
Yep.
to move forward. And I think that's what's going to keep Onyx moving forward. That's what we're gonna
Love
do.
that.
We're gonna keep up. We're gonna keep pushing.
Okay. Okay. So where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at ONX underscore PRES, Onyx Press. You can also follow me at ONX underscore Naturals, Onyx Naturals. Uh, Todd Rogers on Facebook, Onyx Naturals on TikTok. Uh, you can follow our website at www.onyxnaturals.com, where you'll see a list of all our shows, all the things that we got going on. Onyx is also just one branch of Onyx. Onyx Naturals, then we got Onyx Entertainment. We're working on some big stuff on that side too,
Okay.
and most of it is like athlete driven. So, when our athletes that do other things outside of bodybuilding, we got something for them to do when they're not bodybuilding. So we
Okay.
got Onyx Entertainment on the other side. Um, and then we got a foundation, Onyx Foundation, which actually gives back to the community. We do like uh, benefit fashion shows. We have a Miracle of Christmas where we collect toys and give back to the kids, 'cause, God loves the kids, man. And so
Hmm.
we give back to the kids and stuff. We're gonna start doing some more foundation stuff, runs and stuff like that, so that we can give back to different charities and stuff like that. I believe that most of my fashion shows were uh, charities for the Lupus Foundation. So we
Okay.
did that, and like I said, we got the Miracle of Christmas, which is so big. We've been doing it for the last 3 years, and the kids love it. Where we give them a chance to get toys and stuff like that. Some of the kids, they weren't going to have that opportunity, but we make sure that we give back. We give back.
I love that. So thank you again. I mean, this was incredibly insightful, incredibly insightful, and I appreciate you giving me this time. And
Man, I really appreciate you.
I hope we can do this again.
Y'all definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, like I say, Onyx is here, man. And like I say, it's about the culture. It's about giving back. It's about, you know, preserving what we have in natural bodybuilding. And like I said, we're at a peak right now, and I just want to see it continue to grow. And hopefully, like you say, somebody will reach out and hear what we talked about and say, "Hey, man, I agree with you, and I got a plan, and we can
Sorry.
make something happen. Make something happen." But I appreciate you. I'm glad you reached out to me. I love telling these stories. I
Yeah,
love, you know, trying to educate folks and keeping the culture alive.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. You take care.
All right. Peace.
Take care.